There is a prison you cannot see. No bars, no chains, no guards with rifles standing watch. But it is real, and billions are trapped inside. This prison is quiet, comfortable, deceitfully safe. And yet, it suffocates your potential, robs your time, and buries your dreams in exchange for momentary ease. It is the prison of undisciplined living. Most people don't know they're locked inside. They wake up too late. They scroll too long. They eat what numbs, buy what distracts, say what pleases, and do what feels good, until it doesn't. Then they wonder why life feels heavy, why success is always out of reach, why they're surrounded by information but starving for transformation. But you are not most people, because you're starting to hear the sound of your own chains rattling. And somewhere inside, there's a voice, quiet but unrelenting, whispering, "You were meant for more than this." That voice is your potential, and it is calling you toward the one truth most people avoid their entire lives. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. No one embodied this more than the titans of history. Thomas Edison worked through 10,000 failed prototypes to bring light to the world, not because he was lucky, but because he was disciplined. He wasn't interested in how he felt. He was committed to what he believed. Abraham Lincoln rose from poverty and failure to reshape the destiny of a nation, not through talent, but by mastering himself when everything around him fell apart. Walt Disney was rejected over 300 times before securing the funding for Disneyland. 300 no's, and still, he showed up. Still, he believed. Still, he pushed forward, because dreams without discipline die in notebooks and conversations. If you ever feel like you're stuck in life, if you ever feel like you're moving but going nowhere, it's not your intelligence that's lacking. It's not your environment. It's not your past. It's the absence of consistent, committed, courageous discipline. Discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you started. It only asks, can you keep showing up? Most people think freedom means doing what you want, but that's not freedom. That's chaos. Real freedom is earned. It's the ability to design your own life, not react to it. It's waking up early because your goals matter more than your excuses. It's choosing silence when ego wants to shout. It's eating for energy, not entertainment. It's investing when others consume. It's reading when others gossip. It's staying calm when life tests you. And above all, it's choosing your future self over your current comfort. Discipline is not a switch you flip. It's a path you walk, a decision you make over and over again, especially when no one is watching. Because that is where champions are forged, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not on stage, but in the silence. Every day, life gives you 1,000 chances to break promises to yourself. And every day, discipline gives you one reason not to, because you said you would. Somewhere, right now, someone is outworking you. Someone with less talent, fewer connections, more adversity and more pain, but they're showing up with discipline. That's what levels the playing field. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And the best part, discipline is not a gift. It's not something you inherit. It's not in your genes or your horoscope. It's a muscle. And every time you keep your word to yourself, it grows. Every time you resist the urge to quit, it grows. Every time you rise before the sun, start before you're ready, and move before you're motivated, it grows. Motivation is cheap. Discipline is earned. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You need to act until you feel inspired. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need relentless consistency. The greatest lie we've been sold is that we need to feel ready before we begin. But the truth is, readiness comes from the doing, not the waiting. You don't rise to your potential, you fall to your habits. So if you want a better life, build better habits, sharpen your rituals, honor your word, show up early, stay late, keep going when you're tired, say no when distractions scream yes. This is the price of freedom, and it's paid in daily deposits of discipline. Do you know why most people never change? Because they think change is something they wait for. A spark, a sign, a new year, a Monday, a break in the storm. But life doesn't reward waiters. It rewards workers. The ones who start now, not next week, not after the holidays, not when they feel like it. Now. Right now is when you plant the seeds for who you will become. And that future version of you. They're watching you. Every decision you make, every promise you keep, every time you push past what's easy and choose what's necessary, they're applauding, they're rising, they're becoming real. But they can only exist if you earn them, through discipline. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if you honored every promise you made to yourself for the next 12 months? What if you got serious, not curious, about your goals? What if you stopped negotiating with procrastination? What if you stopped outsourcing your responsibility to luck, to timing, to someone else's approval? What if, instead of saying, "I'll try," you declared, "I will"? You don't need a new app. You don't need another book. You don't need to find the right podcast or the perfect planner. You need a decision. One decision, followed by another and another, until discipline becomes your identity. Because when it does, everything changes. Your confidence rises. Your focus sharpens. Your energy aligns. Your habits reinforce your vision. Your days become declarations. And your life? It begins to echo with freedom. But freedom is not the absence of responsibility. It is the embrace of it. When you choose discipline, you're not rejecting pleasure. You're upgrading it. You're trading in short-term dopamine for long-term fulfillment. You're choosing the kind of satisfaction that doesn't vanish after the scroll ends or the buzz fades. There's a reason people like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, and even Jim Rohn himself didn't just build businesses, they built lives. Not perfect lives, not easy lives, but intentional ones, built on principle, not preference, on delayed gratification, not momentary relief. They understood something we forget in our modern world of likes, follows, and instant results. Discipline is the gatekeeper of greatness. Carnegie read hundreds of books before he ever led a team. Ford failed and went bankrupt twice before changing the world with the assembly line. Jim Rohn spent 6 years planting seeds in obscurity before the world ever listened, and yet they kept going, not because it felt good, but because they were clear on who they wanted to become. You see, discipline is rooted in clarity. When you know what you're building, you stop chasing everything else. You stop comparing. You stop reacting to every opinion, every setback, every delay, because your vision is stronger than your emotions. And that's when the world starts to shift, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. You want to know what's rare? Someone who shows up every single day, without applause. Someone who trains even when no one's watching, who writes when no one reads, who studies when everyone else is scrolling, who says no to what's easy and yes to what's essential. You want to know what that kind of person becomes? Unstoppable. Because while the world is full of people waiting to feel ready, they're already moving. While others are addicted to outcomes, they're addicted to the process. While the average person asks, "What if it doesn't work?" they ask, "What happens if I never try?" That's the power of discipline. It gives you momentum in a world drowning in hesitation. It turns you into a force, not just a personality, a producer, not just a consumer, a leader, not just a follower of trends. But let's be honest, discipline will break you first. It will force you to meet the parts of yourself you've been avoiding, the lazy parts, the scared parts, the addicted, distracted, insecure parts. It will expose your excuses. It will confront your comfort. It will demand you rise above the story you've been telling yourself. And most people won't survive that encounter. They'll run, they'll distract, they'll justify, they'll blame, they'll quit, but not you. Because you understand something deeper. Growth hurts more than failure. But it's the only pain that's worth it. The gym will break your muscles to make them stronger. The fast will challenge your appetite to reclaim your health. The silence will confront your thoughts to reveal your truth. Everything worth building requires a price. And discipline, it is the currency. So stop asking for it to be easier. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop hoping success will come knock on your door while you sleep in and scroll through other people's highlight reels. You were born with the power to build, but no one can swing the hammer for you. You want better focus? Cut the noise. You want better energy? Guard your sleep like it's sacred. You want stronger relationships? Stop ghosting your own presence. You want success? Give more than you take. Serve when no one sees. Master the basics, and then the breakthroughs. That's not sexy. It's not viral. It won't trend on TikTok, but it will make you dangerously effective. Because when the world is asleep in comfort, you'll be wide awake in purpose. Here's what they won't tell you. Discipline won't always feel good. Some days, it'll feel like betrayal, like you're denying yourself something fun, something relaxing, something you deserve. But the truth is, the greatest act of self-love isn't indulgence. It's honor. It's waking up on time, not because you have to, but because you said you would. It's saying no to the cookie, the drink, the impulse purchase, not because you hate pleasure, but because you love your future more. Discipline is the ultimate proof that you trust yourself, that you don't need someone to watch over you, applaud you, or reward you. You're no longer a slave to mood, trends, or temptations. You've become a master of your own behavior, and that's when everything changes, not just your results, but your identity. You stop saying things like, "I'm trying to be disciplined. I'm working on getting better. I just need to get motivated." No. You start saying, "I am disciplined. I am consistent. I do what I say." Because identity drives behavior, and behavior builds reality. And when your identity shifts, the world takes notice. You no longer walk like everyone else, talk like everyone else, live like everyone else. Because you've outgrown the common path. You're no longer seduced by what's quick, easy, or popular. Your eyes are fixed on something deeper, something higher, something most people never reach. Not because they couldn't, but because they wouldn't. You see, life doesn't deny people success. People forfeit success the moment discipline becomes optional. But when it becomes your standard, when it's not something you do once in a while, but who you are, everything bends to meet you there. People feel it in your presence. Opportunities are drawn to your energy. You stop chasing and start attracting. Why? Because the universe rewards those who show up with intentional effort every single day. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's not the algorithm or the economy. It's alignment. You show the world what you're serious about by what you're consistent with. You tell your future what you deserve by how you act when no one's watching. You declare your destiny, not with your dreams, but with your disciplines. And make no mistake, life will test you. It'll give you every excuse to go back, every reason to slip, delay, pause, and no one would blame you. In fact, they'll encourage it. You've earned a break. Take it easy. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just this once, But the disciplined mind hears that and smiles, because it knows what just this once really means. It's never just once. It's a pattern, a gateway, a seed. You don't build your dream life by escaping pressure. You build it by becoming unshakable under pressure. Pressure doesn't break the disciplined, it forges them. Just like coal under pressure becomes a diamond, the human spirit under discipline becomes unstoppable. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, tired, tempted to quit, remember, this is not the moment to fold. It's the moment to rise, to stand taller, to breathe deeper, to remember who you said you'd become. Because discipline isn't just about early mornings and cold showers. It's about something sacred. It's about keeping your word to yourself. And that, my friend, is the rarest thing in the world today. People break promises to themselves all the time. They lie to their goals. They ghost their dreams. They betray their own potential, not with malice, but with neglect. But not you. You're different, because deep down, you've tasted the pain of regret. You've lived through the shame of could have. You've felt the quiet agony of a life lived 10% below what you know you're capable of. And now, you're done with that. Done playing small, done waiting for the right moment, done excusing behavior that builds nothing but frustration. You're not chasing perfection. You're chasing alignment. You're becoming someone that your future self would be proud of. So when the alarm rings tomorrow, rise. Not because it's easy, not because you feel like it, but because you are becoming the kind of person who does what needs to be done. When the workout burns, breathe. When the craving hits, wait. When the excuses come, stand your ground. This is how freedom is built. It doesn't come wrapped in fireworks or applause. It comes wrapped in ordinary days, executed extraordinarily. The future belongs to those who are loyal to their potential, even when no one else sees it. The quiet truth most people never learn is this: the cost of discipline is far less than the price of regret. Regret will haunt you. Regret will visit you at night, years from now, whispering, "You could have been more." But discipline lets you rest with peace, because you know deep down you showed up, you answered the call, you became the person you were designed to be. That's what this life is about. Not arriving at the end with ease, but arriving at the end spent, poured out, fully used, knowing you didn't just exist, you lived. And the key to all of that? Discipline. Because discipline will set you free. And that freedom, the one built on sweat, silence, and sacrifice, it's not loud. It doesn't come crashing into your life with confetti and cameras. It arrives quietly, subtly, almost invisibly, at first. You wake up one day and realize you're no longer tired all the time. You don't dread Mondays. You're not chasing cheap thrills, because real joy lives inside your work. You don't fear failure, because discipline taught you how to begin again. You don't need applause, because you've learned how to clap for yourself. You don't need permission, because you've earned your power. That's what freedom feels like. Not luxury, not indulgence, not laziness. Freedom is power over self, and most will never have it, because it requires what most won't give: ownership. Ownership of time, of attention, of emotion, of effort, of results. Not blame, not luck, not the system, just ownership. You want power, take responsibility. You want success, take action. You want freedom, take discipline. And here's what's wild. Once you live this way, you can't go back. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel the strength you've earned. When you've built discipline brick by brick, the taste of freedom is too good to abandon for the junk food of convenience. The inner peace is too pure to trade for validation. The self-respect is too high to be bought by distraction. You've gone to war with yourself, and you've won. Not because you became perfect, but because you refused to quit, because you showed up again, and again, and again, until showing up became who you are. And now, You don't need motivation. You don't need the stars to align. You don't need the right mood. You just move, because movement is what you do. You've become the kind of person who doesn't snooze when the alarm rings, doesn't complain when the grind begins, doesn't shrink when pressure hits, doesn't fold when life punches back. You've become the kind of person who sets a vision and then builds it, inch by inch, no matter how long it takes. You've become the kind of person who doesn't need to shout, because your life speaks for itself. That's power. That's presence. That's real success. And it's earned. Every time you say yes to discipline and no to mediocrity. Every time you say, I won't live this year like the last. I won't betray my potential again. I will rise no matter how long it takes. Let this be your turning point. Let this be the moment you stop rehearsing your limits and start rewriting your life. Not tomorrow, not when it's easier, not when the timing's right. Now. Because the truth is, time won't wait. The world won't pause. The clock is ticking. And every second you hesitate, another opportunity slips away. But if you choose discipline, if you really choose it, you won't need more time. You'll make better use of the time you already have. That's the real shift. Not in hours, but in intention. Not in resources, but in resourcefulness. Not in speed, but in direction. So wherever you are in life, whether you're broke, tired, stuck, uncertain, anxious, lost, none of that matters more than what you decide in this very moment. You can keep living on autopilot, or you can wake up and take back the wheel. You can keep blaming the world, or you can build your own. You can keep numbing the pain, or you can face it and rise through it. And the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be, it has one name: discipline. Not comfort, not luck, not someday. Discipline. Because discipline will set you free.